right, everybody, welcome
Whenever
back
who's
to Gear Talk. This is episode 12. Right now we've got Neva, Lem, and Bane. Oh, Bane just left. He'll be back. Uh, Welcome back. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Let me know. We can get you an invite to the 780 Discord. Um, Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the new set Butterfly, and then answer some questions. So let's go ahead and get started.
I don't even
All
want to
right.
talk about the butterfly effects. I'm sorry. I just don't want to talk about it. That's complete game changing.
does, does anybody
There's a lot
actually
of
know
options.
how it's going to work? I hear a lot of
Well-
theories.
Well,
guess-
there has been some things from actual customer support trying to describe how it is, and there's supposedly a screenshot floating around of what it actually does and everything. So, but I haven't seen it personally. From what I've read in the thing, it's similar to if you dodge, you heal a portion of your troops back or a percentage of your troops back. But what the percentages is and what
All right. If someone has that weapon, they should be able to put it on a comm and then go to information, and it should tell you, kind of like the
true.
the 3-piece did. Even
Well,
though
I'm gonna
you
be honest
didn't
with you, I'm
have the
broken up with
complete
everything.
set, it did come up with the set bonus saying what the set bonus was, right?
Yes, it did. You're exactly right there. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
So,
I had
does any
emailed
of us have this weapon?
I emailed Seven Pirates, and I got the generic. Basically it's the butterfly set without the removal of debuffs, but they never gave me the percentages, so I don't know what that is.
Well, that's what
So
I'm saying.
you
That
mean dodge
percentage
up?
should show up if someone actually has at least one piece of the set. It should say in the description when you go through information on what that percentage is. I don't know
So
if anybody here has one.
if you have the weapon, and you want to show that for us right now, that'd be the perfect time to share your screen and show this, because we'd love to see this. Because it's already going to be OP as fuck anyway as it is. I mean, just the amount of sheer dodge with this two set combination is going to be insane. So, and we did call it last week when we talked about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we did call out some of the set and some of the stats, so didn't get them all right. But
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting Sweet.
Wasn't
I was
expecting
not either.
that much dodge.
That's a lot of dodge.
Not that much. That's a fuck ton of dodge.
That's a lot of sweet too.
I'm gonna see if we can get someone to screenshot it. I know Kaz got the weapon last week.
I would love to see a screenshot of that.
Well, I know Tess got the boots yesterday. I don't know if he's able to craft them, but I know he got those yesterday.
If he got it, he's able to craft.
Okay,
He's
well,
probably
then,
already got a 50.
He's got the boots from yesterday.
That's an insane amount of dodge there. 70% base. That's an insane amount of dodge.
Hmm.
Like,
Well, I was talking with a few people. The SWE on those boots takes care of the SWE for assault. Also, the Wild Rose is added in, so you can use the butterfly weapon in lieu of a Wild Rose, and you get the same SWE effect, but you still get the 2 set bonus. Scroll up a
It's
little
going to
bit.
be very good with Ruthless.
Yeah, because that doesn't have any SWE on it, but if you scroll up and you look at the Wild Rose,
It doesn't make any sense to do that though, because if you run a sweep pen set, you're not going to have any survival. So if you dodge, you're not going to have any survival. So you're still not going to heal much.
yeah.
If you get hit, you're dead.
Okay, so there's
But
a lot of things you can
it's an
say
option to
depending on
catch
it.
someone that's not
Nah.
expecting it.
Right, but if you're trying to catch somebody, then you don't even need the dodge set. You want more sweep damage, so it still wouldn't make sense to run that weapon.
Because you wouldn't have no damage there. You have no attack in that weapon. Besides HP and dodge and penetration.
Like the gear itself It's more useful than the set bonus as it stands. The set bonus is only going to work on a select few comms.
Yeah, it's a worse version of ballet step, which is meh.
Like it might make Frag useful. It's really going to be hard. It's going to be hard for that to be a useful.
It's gonna make a lot of the comms useful, but I mean, you're right. It's gonna be selective, as in if you can survive the hit. But like, it will help infantry against King. It will help against Ira, because you're thinking they go to hit you, that you dodge, then they hit you, then you heal right after they hit you. So, but it's
Assuming you
only going to
have
help that one slot being hit. It's not going to help all of
it. It depends on how the skill works, because the skill might work for all 3 slots. Probably won't, but it might.
it.
And it
No,
depends
it's
on whether or
not.
not you can tank. If you can tank the hit from a king, because usually King and Ira kill infantry with 1 hit. It doesn't matter unless you're running full blown tank.
No. I mean, it does. It when I ran ballot step, King and Ira never killed me in one shot. Never could,
With what
because
gear?
I mean, straight attack gear, same gear I've been running. I haven't really changed my gear that much since I ran ballet step. So there again, if you look at it, ballet step will help you survive, because when they hit, you heal right after. So even if they take you down to 1 troop in that slot and then you heal, they have to take out that whole slot for that heal not to go. And it only works on that 1 slot that dodges. It doesn't work against all 6, only that one. So really, the front 3 slots is where you're getting the bonus.
Oh, I can't hear you.
So, I mean, a couple of us ran ballet step because ballet step was just when King was dominant in the meta. What, a year ago? Fucking ballet step ate him up. It was funny.
I do remember fighting you against the ballet stuff, and it did help out you a little bit. I mean, not a little bit, a lot. So, I mean,
But it's not a great effect, because uh on a lot of ours, you have to take away their guaranteed hits, which a lot of them is the gem set. Because a lot of out of the comms that actually have guaranteed hits, which is at 40%, which is not that good, you know, because I will play with DSs and shit like that. I'll play, well, let's see if you trigger, you know. And y'all seen me do that the last time when we went up against y'all in Cass. I did that to Harris all the time, just to see when he
Yeah,
doesn't trigger.
just so you know, you lost 90% of the time.
Oh yeah, well, Harris had increased. You had the freaking Harris's stuff was at almost 100% with the bonus from the cast bonus. So
Yeah. Point being, for those listening, just because Lem does it does not mean that's a viable strategy.
Oh yeah, you should not.
right.
hey, that's strategy that works out a lot of time though. Just don't do it when there's increased trigger bonuses. Unless
Now,
you're doing it just to have fun.
what's all this extra going to do to black? All this extra dodge.
All the extra dodge, what it's going to do to black is black's going to have to pin on his guaranteed hits. And if you got comms that will stop you from getting your gem sets and all that, and you have to wait till the second round, that's
Preemptive
going to put a
gains.
lot of people up on you.
I mean,
Yeah,
people.
So
they might
black,
make a change. People might
there,
start going not accuracy and might decide to go more tanky and just go for the second round. So he still hits very hard.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
He
Make-
might actually just start wearing these pants as well. So you'll have to try and get past hitting him every time.
I mean, there's a possibility you put the set on him, and yeah, it'll help him out. But there's also a possibility that without those guaranteed hits, he gets ran through because he doesn't have any guaranteed hits. Because if you put that set on infantry, there's nothing in this game that's really going to touch infantry. Because I mean, you're talking over 2,000% dodge.
Well, walkers can pretty easily touch that, but most walkers don't run high act because they just don't hit hard enough.
Yes.
And it doesn't really make sense when you can run a guaranteed hit that's 60% with trigger rate to make it 80%.
Yeah.
Or King/Ira. That's why you don't see walkers using high act with act troops, is because it doesn't make any sense.
They've also got like a lot of ways to stop the canes and everything in the first round anyway, so they can just put like mind map on any walker and it'll work.
Well, with the Sui, it's also, I mean, depending on who you fight, like it's kind of pseudo increasing your accuracy as well.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it'll help black, and it will benefit black against walkers, and it will help infantry against air. So with your Sui and stuff like that. But then you just running that. If that's
This
going to help
isn't
go
changing
against
anything in
black,
meta.
basically
This
black's
set
going to have to
doesn't
stay
change the
away from
meta.
infantry.
Right. Black already has to stay away from infantry, though. The thing about this is it just kind of increases the extremes of the walker versus infantry versus air versus walker meta. It just kind of increases that a little bit more and makes black a little bit less untouchable. But it's not going to kill black per se, and it's not going to make infantry way better because infantry get hurt by DS, and DS can run this gear too. It
Yes.
really doesn't. This isn't going to change the meta at all. It just kind of shifts it slightly. You're going to see more.
If anything, it will shift slightly back from black to DS. If anything.
I was going to say, a year and a half ago or so, I could beat almost any black that was comparable to what my size was. But then something a year and a half ago switched, and black just smoked everybody. I don't know if it was a combination of gems or what the difference was, but
Just new equipment.
Who are you
Things
using?
like that.
Yeah, higher amounts
Yeah.
of defense to benefit his skill.
well,
So I mean, you're going to be in a toss-up, and that's why I said with a lot of people that we're trying to work on a swap to black. I mean, I kind of hold off on that and see where this is going to go with this new
Yeah.
set, because I mean, you may need that guaranteed hit from DS, so you do that swap to black now without knowing where this swap's going to go. Then you might either you'll swap to black and it might work out for you, or you swap to black and find out that, well, I need to go back to DS. And then do the whole swap all over again. That's why I said you just got to hold up and see where this is going with this set.
yeah.
I can see that dodge black coming back.
I mean, yeah, I see Dodge Black coming back. You got Dodge DS coming back. I mean, I almost can see a possibility of Dodge Roger Dodger coming back too. There's a possibility there. I don't know if it's going to work, but there's a possibility it could.
I mean, with that damage reduction on the actual pants just makes it a very viable weapon. Very viable pants.
Yeah.
Well, I was
You can
wondering
run-
what they would do for like Roger and Rogers and Reinhardt might make them a little
these
more.
pants right here are the universal.
Reinhardt
Really, if you think about it, you can run them on infantry. You can run them on air, and you can run them on walker if you want to, man.
I mean,
these are
to
universal
me-
pants right here.
To me, this set is more universal than the 3P, because the stats you're getting out of it is almost all around, whereas the 3P, the stats you were getting out of it really limited your capability.
If you look at the stats on the weapon, though, I mean, you can't really run them on high damage columns. You just can't, because it's got HP, dodge, and penetration. So you can't run it on high damage columns. you can't run. So I mean, you can, but I mean, it's not really optimal for you because you're losing a lot of damage out of that, for that weapon. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, I would say that maybe it's not as versatile for like infantry. Like you'd have to select a few times you'd want to run on your infantry, or even airship. I mean, I don't know if you would necessarily run that. I mean, in place of a broken fortress, you may. I don't know. That's up to you. I mean,
Well, you got to remember, Slee's also increasing your
yeah,
how
but
hard
I
you
mean,
hit too. And if you run that right on infantry, you could run it on a high damage com because you're getting survivability out of the dodge, which infantry's dodge is already out of this fucking world anyway.
yeah.
So there are possibilities there. I mean, I don't know so much as running a high dodge infantry up against walkers because I mean that 60% guaranteed hit walkers have, and you can't take away their gems. You can't take away, you don't take away anything from walkers. Walkers does have that capability.
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be
But
good
I
on
mean,
walkers for sure.
but there is a possibility there. But I mean, also it's going to take away the effects of uh, some of the other comms in walkers. I mean, like elf. If elf's dependent on a curse, I mean, you wind up healing that curse damage up pretty quickly, depending on what the percentage is now. Because I mean,
Does
ballet
it heal?
step at
Is it going to heal
ballet,
curse?
Yeah, it will heal. It will heal curse damage all day
Huh.
long. But I mean, ballet steps a 60% heal. So
Huh.
what's the percentage of the heal on this
I
weapon?
already have an idea for this stuff. Of actually, I mean, if I'm going after this dude, yeah, there's a lot of potential on the Walker side with this two P combination, in my personal opinion. But I think outside the box on crazy build, you know that. So I think it would work. Just have to be tested.
Well, I mean,
Now, as far as your dodge comes, I mean, this set comes out perfect for anybody, like Dane Bros running a Dodge Sister Wolf, you
Yeah.
know, that it's a perfect setup for him.
Mm-hmm.
That, you're already setting up yourself up for dodge, and it winds up coming out great because you getting a hell of a lot more dodge out of it.
Mm-hmm. I think Walkers have a good potential with this particular set. I just
Walker's actually, from looking at it, I think Walker's got a lot of potential out of the new gear set.
mm-hmm.
Infantry has some, but not
Yeah.
as much as Walker's does. And air, they get some too.
Yeah. There's some potential with this. I'm telling you. on the Walker side.
I think Elf will like it.
well, I would think it would
But I
hurt Elf
think
if it heals the curse.
it will heal the curse. As soon as Elf misses that slot, it's gonna heal it will heal up, and then curse will go on the next slot, and then the next slot goes, you miss that, and you heal right back up from the curse. It does. I mean, the
Also
only
kill
one that it wouldn't heal the curse from
the
would
back row.
be the back row, and the only other com that it wouldn't heal the curse from would be Craig, because Craig stops the heal.
Maybe. You don't. It might. It might not. You never know because they might make it so that it ignores that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
That
could. I mean, I haven't ran ballet step in a while, so I haven't really looked at it.
But and ballet step actually removes the debuff from
Yeah, a ballet step actually removes the debuff, so therefore, it
but
wouldn't give you much of a
this set does
good
not
look.
though.
Yep.
Hmm.
But I do see where, like Craig, you're gonna get not Craig would get the survivability out of it. There's a chance it would help Craig Czar, I mean, it really would help Czar because I mean, you're stuck between doing a damage reduction build with Czar or trying to dodge out. And depending on the way you build your Czar, if you build it dodge set, I mean, this may wind up giving you the survivability you need off of Czar. Puppet, I mean, you need accuracy on Puppet. So, I mean, it's going to help you to an extent, but it's not going to be the best setup for you. But I mean, you could go down the list. Any of those comms that are depending on dodge survivability. I mean, try it on Tank Stella. Be honest with you.
Shh, we don't talk about that.
There's, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't say what I think there would be good on, but yeah, let's just go from there.
You can, but you don't want
Oh
to.
well, I mean, most of walkers,
Exactly.
it's going to be nice on walkers because I mean,
William,
walkers
you know what
usually
I'm
has
thinking,
the
right?
survivability. I know what you're thinking,
Oh my god. It's so good to
I
say.
but
think
I
the good
mean,
thing about the
walkers
eyes
do
is
have that
different.
ability to survive a hit too. So I mean, there again, you're looking at a fourth, fifth heal. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Fuck y'all.
yeah. You heal on everything, every action, everything heals you. Anything their opponent does or you do heals you at that point.
Exactly. So fuck you. I mean, and that's not even me pulling out one comm. That's me looking at all the comms straight across the board, going, yeah, okay, now you get a fifth heal. Good luck. Fucking someone won the lottery.
Jesus. I've been looking at that and been thinking about it. When y'all told me what the special effect was, I'm like, oh.
I mean, did you
yeah.
when this came out? Did you yell bingo?
Yeah, so you might as well. Like, fuck. No, like seriously, that's a lot, and that's a lot. That's a lot of hills, man. That's a lot of hills on the Walker side. I'm just saying. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not gonna make them like, oh my god, let's avoid all Walkers type shit. No, but they're gonna take out a lot. They can take a lot of
It-
damage.
yeah, it's going to severely change the meta to an extent. It's not going to be a big change like what happened a year ago or whatnot when blacks came out, and it's not going to be as severe as that. It's not severely going to change the meta around, as in making certain comms relevant, irrelevant. It's going to depend on your build. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
you're going to be able to build it to make those comms relevant, which it puts more power in the player's hand as having all these techniques they can use to build their comp.
It's not cheap. The thing about this heal is that you have to be able to survive the hit in order for it to actually work. And most
Well, you
builds,
have to be able to
like
dodge
if
the
they're
hit
running
too.
right, but the dodge is just a given. If you're not dodging, there's
yeah.
no point. The point
The
is
way it
if you
works
hit
is the dot.
it
If they miss you, it dot. The way it's speculated to work. If your opponent misses you, you heal.
Yeah.
right. But the question is,
So
when they land their hits, are you going to have enough survival without any crit wither and no
To make
HP
it
in
to
the
the
tank?
next round.
oh
Right.
yeah,
To make
there's
it
a
to
way
that
you have to
heal.
make it happen. Yeah, there's a way to make it happen.
Well, yeah, it might really hurt blacks because, until they started changing things up a year and a half ago, black couldn't hit a barn. He couldn't hit anything. That
That's,
was a problem with him.
he could have hit the broadside of a barn.
Never hit anything. I mean, so he's strong. He couldn't hit anything. So whatever, he cranked the dodge
But I
way up, and
mean,
he may not be able to hit anything again.
Black's a
yeah,
tank kid.
and
That's what he
and,
does.
and that's kind of where I'm at. Why I said that you might want to hold if you're
Yeah.
waiting, if you're in the process of saying, okay, well, I'm gonna swap to black. You might want to hold off on that because DS might be the play.
Well,
DS will only play against
So
dodge comms. Black will
it's not.
will kill tanks. Black will rip every tank apart still.
yeah,
He won't hit the dodge comms, no, if they go with a new gear, no. But he will kill every tank. That's not
Yeah,
a question. He
yeah.
will rip through every single tank possible. And Dread, you have 2 max comms, same as me. You can have a tank killer and 1 to kill squishy. You don't need 1 con to do both because you have 2 maxes. You can literally set 1 up to kill one thing, the other one to kill the other thing. Then you covered on both bases. That's why I've done what I've done. So I'm covered on completely both bases.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
easier. Because then you can focus the build into one thing only. If it's send to kill a tank,
Yeah.
the tank ain't gonna dodge you. Go raw attack. No tank's gonna
So
dodge you.
I mean, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of different ways, and the gear is so open that it depends on how you built it. To be honest with you, I mean, if for
Never
those
knows
that
the
have
build
a
off.
mindset, yeah, well, for all those that have the mindset of building comms and being able to build it, this is perfect for them because then you're breaking down the stats and getting the stats you need to build something that
If I'm
could
honest,
be
I don't think
dangerous.
Walker. I don't think infantry got the biggest buff. I think Walker will get the biggest buff from this now.
Well, we just
Oh
talked
yeah,
about
we
that.
just talked about it. Yeah,
The build I was
yeah,
on about,
definitely.
that is gonna work 1,000 times over.
Oh yeah, the fact that you get an extra
Mhm.
heal out of it, that's fucking insane. I mean, there's a lot of
Fuck the
potential
hill.
here with the Walker
Is the
Star.
fact of even you hit a 3-piece, you'll heal from the natural Walker talents anyway. You'll heal from the talents. You don't
You're
even
gonna
need
heal
the gear
regardless.
separate.
You're healing exactly. You're healing all the way around the disc.
That's what
Every
I'm
which
saying.
way.
It's Walkers will benefit massively from Snap because Walker's the biggest
Yeah,
problem. 3-piece black.
I mean
Walker
now,
attack comms got phased the fuck out.
the
Now they have a
worst
chance to
thing
come back.
for walkers though is that flea in the pants.
That's
Yeah,
good against infantry. Craig. That'll make him more
So
it does
viable, more
help.
Walker made viable against Craig. Especially if they're
It
on
does help in
Ruthless.
that aspect. It does help in that aspect.
Yeah, which is the biggest problem right now. Tank wise, technically, what is the most effective tank right now? Craig.
I disagree.
so,
Zero.
but I mean the only difference is with Craig, he does have the ability to stop you from healing.
Mhm.
But does he stop the Walker talents? I don't know. I can't remember what else. I don't think he does.
I will tell you this: I eat Craig. So if that tells you anything.
Well,
But
no,
really,
let's rephrase that. There is one Craig you don't.
One, yeah,
not just
one,
one.
Unless
I
you want him to hit you 20 more times.
one.
I'm happy I can beat it. I'm happy I
you
can beat
have
him though.
Walker talents in that moment. That's one skill that is crushing Craig, and that's the same skill that crushes every commander that runs wings.
Hmm?
Oh, it's just Neva and his I crush Craig's with his status quo.
No.
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 I beat the same Craig. I'm not gonna say who's Craig, but I beat the same Craig on Man Map. I
You don't.
literally
It's not close. It's not close.
you put it on System Wolf against that with that one person, you would destroy him.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
could.
see,
I
see,
could.
see. The issue
Oh,
is never can't beat that one person. It always times out.
It doesn't make sense.
if Neva didn't. Well, I
Same
would kick
exact
his
build.
ass.
Look, I fought the same exact build this past GC. Fought the same exact build, the same exact shit, same exact gems. Everything's virtually the same, except maybe some minor stat adjustments, and I wiped it. So I don't get it. I think it's stupid. Just like I don't in Sims. I think Sims are a little bit wonky anyway because just like in Sims, I don't beat elves, but in real battle, elves is food. So I don't know what that I don't know. I don't beat elves in Sims at all, hardly at all. But not
Ah,
big ones.
I need to
Yeah,
test
it's
this
weird.
against you actually. No, I need to test against you. I thought Ghost had something on his build last night. He did not, and I ripped Ghost apart last night.
Uh,
You ended up
I
testing
mean,
it because you have things.
there's a couple different things you can do with this. That's why I said screw it. I don't even want to talk about the new set because we don't know what type of changing that motherfucker's going to do. But I mean, is the possibility there? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
This
exactly. And
the,
there's a lot of usefulness to this. Even just the pants alone there's a lot of usefulness to the pants alone, even a standalone piece because that amount of dodge and with damage reduction, you're getting a lot of use out of it. You know what I'm saying?
like I don't
So
even give a fuck about the weapon. I just want the pants.
Exactly. The pants are fucking 70% base dodge is insane, dude. What's the next closest piece? What's the next closest?
So
40?
what?
They're void.
Yeah, 40.
Yeah, the voice
Yeah,
is close.
40%. What boys closest? What is that? 60 or 40 or 50 or
That's
what is
40
it?
base.
So like
These pants are a void and fire spirits combined.
yeah.
Yeah.
Opens you up so much. So those pants
Like
are
I
not
said, the possibilities there, and I hate to try and speak on it before we even see what it could do.
yeah.
Because I mean, one moment we could say, "Oh yeah, all the stats and all look good," and then once you put the gear on, it winds up being shit.
Yeah, it just
The
doesn't work
chances of
right.
that
It's broken,
happening
yeah.
are slim to none. But I mean, still, there's a possibility there.
I feel you.
You
I
lack
understand.
imagination.
Mhm. I see progress. That's what I see.
You know, this actually might help Craig versus Walkers.
It would.
It would.
I think so.
That's why I
But
said. I mean, it's just there's a lot of possibilities.
well, see,
out
the thing is, okay. So the thing is, like for example, if it's against me or something like that, like, I don't know if it'll just. I don't have a shit ton of accuracy in the build at all. I rely on guaranteed hits and everything like that. So this opens up a lot more to take away the option to have this guaranteed hits and me getting to hit you in the first round and all this, that, and other. But at the same time, you're still going to get fucked. I mean, if I'm relying mostly on that, it's just going to. That's why I don't. I just. I don't know. I see it being useful in walkers, but as far as like something that I would normally beat anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to change. It's not going to change that fact that I should still whoop their ass because I mean it might, but I don't hit very often unless it's with a guaranteed hit because I don't have a lot of accuracy in my build anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and one thing you're looking at is you're going to need a lot of accuracy going up against someone that has this set.
Yeah, you're going to have to, but unless you have a fuck ton of guaranteed hits and you have a lot of talent to make it where you're getting your guaranteed hits. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's going to change the fact that it's going to. I don't know if it might help Craig against Walker. It might. I just don't know because
what I see it doing is helping those comms that already have guaranteed hit
yeah,
to come back in the fold. Is
yeah,
what
I
I
think that's
see.
where it's at too. Yeah, I think that's where it's at too. But I mean, it could be wrong. Thank you.
Can
We just have to get it out and test it and see. I mean, it's already out. It's already been released. We just got to test it now. People just got to grab
Yeah,
it and test it.
once someone spends the $4,000 to get it, and we can see.
See, that's the thing I don't like is
Go
the
ahead,
fact that
Harris.
every piece. That's the thing I don't like. Every piece of new fucking equipment is always going to be that high price point that makes it to where it's like no one. I mean, if it's a game changing like that, I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like their equipment prices. I've been complaining to 7P for fucking months about their equipment prices. Years actually. It's just never
Well,
changed.
well, I mean, looking at this set, it's still up from the looks of it and from what it does. It looks like it's up there with the Sun Raven set. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't see that price point changing because it's up there with the Sun Raven set, and Sun Raven set been at $2,000 since it came out.
Well, see, here's the thing though, with Sunraven and everything. I mean, you got it, yeah, whatever, cool, whatever. You have it now. But if you got this set and everything, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't think all these equipment should be released that much.
They usually put a new set out every year, and it gets a little better every year to make last year's not as good.
And it just exactly. But at the same time, I mean, their price point the price point just is not where it should be. I just don't feel like. I think I don't know.
Well, I mean, let's be
I
real. Okay, the price point is in the deals that you get. Kind of like, okay, Kaz last week. He got the butterfly weapon
Yeah,
and Sun Raven pant.
yeah.
That's
That's
two
a good deal.
pieces
If
of
you could get two
2,000
pieces
gear
for
for yeah.
yeah, if you get 2,000, it's a two pieces of 2,000 gear for you get $4,000 worth of gear for 2,000. That's always a good deal. So you always got to have those good events like that and everything. But
and you
Like,
got to
just
be
right off
able to
rip,
take advantage of those good events. So
Yeah.
for the ones that are going after these gear sets, sometimes it's better off you wait for the deals to come
Yeah.
around and be ready to spend at those points in time.
Yeah, I mean, because at any point in time, let's be real. At any point in time, I mean, you're gonna probably end up spending on this game eventually, regardless. I mean, especially if you were to really play the game and everything like that. Save your money for the right events and fucking get those deals where you can get 2 or 3 pieces of gear for the price of one. Those are out there. They do have them. They happen not often, but probably once every 3 months. Y'all would say, give or take. Once a
I
quarter.
mean, they sneak up on you. I can't even
Yeah,
say that. They sneak up on you because,
I
I
would say
mean,
once every 4 or 5
one
months.
event you're going to suspend on, one event you're going to spend on, and then the next event's going to be a deal event. And it's like, okay, what the fuck? Kind of like when it came down to that, the Shadow Matter, where you got the nanos. The
yeah.
event before that, everybody spent all their Shadow Matter. And then the next event, they offered the nanos for what, 50,000 or whatever, 5 million
Milan.
Shadow Matter or
New
whatever.
Milan.
It was
Malans.
Milan. Yeah, it
Malans.
was Milan. It
Yeah.
was Milan, and it was 25 million. I'm still mad about that shit.
I got,
Yeah,
I got good shots now.
So,
What do you
I
think as
mean, it just goes kind of be careful where you spend that and try and do the best you can to get the events that you can actually make
yeah.
something work off of.
This year just seemed like every good event I was super busy and didn't have time to fuck with it. Really pissed me off. Bad timing.
In my opinion, the events haven't been that great.
Well, I mean, this year's actually been pretty good because I mean, I've got this year was at the beginning of this year was when I got the pants, the Sunraven pants, the Haboclus, and the Nanos for spending $2,000.
Not Hippocrates. Not even a word.
I'll call it hippos. Screw you.
See,
Call them.
as a non-spender, I don't see these events as being all that good.
But from a spender's point
No,
of view, it is good.
from the spender's viewpoint, and even from the spenders that don't spend often, it's actually been pretty good for you to get some deals in there. Because I mean, like I said, last week, you could get the butterfly weapon and the Sunraven pants for $2,000. I mean, even this event with this gear set, that the new gear set, you can get the new gear set for $2,000 plus all the gear to make the gear set because all of it's in it. All of its rewards for spending money. So you could have all the pieces to develop this gear set and get the gear for $2,000.
Ugh, it's too much.
But here's something a lot of people don't think about either. Is like sometimes you just get the blueprints and everything like that for 2 and everything, and then you got to spend the rest of the money to get like fucking all the other years to fucking craft it and shit like that. So it ends up costing more than 2,000. So
Yeah.
I mean,
The where they release this gear always has the gear to craft it. And if you're spending the 2,000 to get the
that's probably nice.
or to get the stuff to make it, but it's not usually as cheap to get the stuff to make it as it is this particular event. It's basically as soon as you spend that money, you get the pieces.
Yeah, it's all included. It's all included.
It's slightly cheaper for this specific one, but if they come out with a new piece of equipment, the event where it comes out, it's going to have the stuff to make it.
Yeah, but it's going to be more than 2,000. But
No, it depends. Like if you're
And no, technically it's not because you got to think when Ronan got the weapon and all that, he was waiting for how long for the Swallows to come out? After that came out,
but he didn't get it the day it came out. He got it in a separate event.
yeah,
When they
exactly.
sit, they will give you the opportunity to have it,
Yes,
but you have
they
to
will.
take that opportunity or wait.
You're
Every
exactly
time
right, man.
re-offered, it's not going to have the pieces to craft it. The initial time, it always has the pieces to craft it.
I don't see any extra pieces on this event.
They're in the what's that metal thing? The rose and the shadow are part of the gear rewards on the purple metal.
Oh, on the artifact?
Yeah, that. not melange. The thing you get for
The
completing.
shields.
Yeah, the shield things. They're
Oh,
called medals.
Reward token.
Huh.
And if you're spending the money, you're gonna get all the shields you need for it. So there again, you wind up in that spot where you spend the money, you get what you need to get the other stuff.
Besides the
And
fact
as
that
far as getting the points, you do daily.
like I have everything to make both new pieces except the swallow, and that's just from like natural collection.
Yeah.
I have a couple swallows floating around.
All right. Well, do you have any questions? Any other questions? What do you think about the mysterious warrior weapon? Shit,
It's
gonna make them relevant to Bane.
not
You run into the same effect that Mysterious Warrior has. The same reason a lot of people don't run it. You don't have a guaranteed hit on Mysterious Warrior. So there again, what the weapon does is okay, well, it will do this extra damage and more extra damage if you actually hit him when that trigger.
it makes him a slightly better utility commander. That's about it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
like
at with it.
exactly what we said last Gear Talk. He's not going to be any better as a main. That accuracy doesn't add any damage. It'll help you land your hits, but with all the new dodge gear coming out, you're going to miss more even with that. So
Right.
it's not counting, and it doesn't actually add that much damage. Like if the set, what is still unclear how it works because no one has it yet.
Nobody cares.
If the set wishes to do significant damage, which I doubt, since his skill already does shit for damage,
Yeah.
might be useful-ish. But if you're running the weapon, then you're not going to survive any. You don't get any survival from that. You don't have any attack from that. It's just a utility piece. That's all it is.
Yeah,
It-
and then you go to add effect. That slot that you hit has to have dual blades on it. So now dual blades is a funny skill, right? You can affect it affects twice, right? But it doesn't affect two slots. It says it affects, it can affect the same slot twice.
It affects 2 random slots. So yes, you can hit the same slot twice, but it doesn't happen all that often. It's in essence, you have to have triggers.
Yeah.
So canes is still going to hurt you a lot because you can't run wings in the first round without canes. So if you run power of infantry, then you lose the useful talents because power of infantry is kind of meh on anyone that's not running a high damage skill. It'll help with triggers, but then once it's gone, it's useless. And once you get to round, you get wings, and it does nothing anyway. So you only get benefit from 1 round using power of infantry, and you lose the talents that you want to stack and ramp. So he doesn't really counter anything that well. This weapon's going to be good for small players running bullets still, despite the fact that they should get over it because bullets dead. It's got the same accuracy as a mini Death Star, if that tells you anything. So it's the highest accuracy piece in the game right now, other than mini Death Star.
I mean, even with that, I wouldn't be running out to grab it.
No. Like
No, you just
terrible.
you wait
utility
for the
piece.
price. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't even be bad as like a swap in piece if you needed more accuracy because it's got I think 4% base pen, right?
Yeah,
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's
For
not
the smaller players that don't spend a lot of money, it would be a swap in piece for you wait for the price to come down. You get it in one of the commander events or whatnot, where They come out with the commander gear stuff, and then you could use it to
But,
swap in and add accuracy to any of your comps. That's
but
about the only thing I see it good for.
it's cheap. It might not even be cheap because like Roger's weapon was not cheap.
Roger's
No.
weapon was 100 times better than this thing, though.
Yes, but only in a select way. Because to be honest, with the new gear that came out, Roger's weapon isn't that useful for most sets. It's like it's great for a damage build, but if you're running a Sun Raven, chances are you're going to need the accuracy more often than not of an Alcade. Like there's a very select few places you can actually run Roger's weapon effectively where you wouldn't want something else. And you can't really run it by itself with two of them for maximum damage because then you can't run a Sun Raven, so you won't have first hit. Like it's a selective piece. It's less useful than it appears
Yeah.
because you can't run two. If you run two, then you would have to use the Sun Raven helmet. Otherwise, you're not going to have first hit. If you run one with a Sun Raven weapon, then you have no accuracy.
Well, that
So then you have
just
to have a guarantee hit.
that just
There's a
brings
lot
the
of problems.
issue. That just brings the issue back to Sunraven on how fucking broken First Strike is.
Yeah, no, yeah. I hate you. I was less depressed. Now I'm more depressed. Bug her off.
I mean, it just doesn't. Is there a possibility that you could use it? Yeah, there's a possibility. There's a possibility someone can make use of it, but it would be more of a utility build. It wouldn't be anything that maybe when cast comes around and there's nothing but small marches. Kind of like when Mysterious Warrior is actually pretty good is in cast
I feel
with low
like
risk marches and.
I feel like
If
it
you have
depends on where you are in the game. Like it's completely usable, but depending on where you are in the game, you're probably not gonna run out to be so excited to get it, especially if you're on a server with Sunraven, because it's like, well, what the fuck does it matter? They've got Sunraven. Does that make sense?
right, it's good. It's gonna be good for like if I could get the new gear, which I'm probably not because I'm poor and broke. But if I did,
I feel you.
that wouldn't be a bad version to have with the new gear for like accuracy. Because you're gonna be missing a lot of spots by running the butterfly weapon. If normally you need like two accuracy pieces in the weapons to hit anything, if you get that one, it's kind of supplements a little bit. It would be a decent piece for a tank tier space build to help land hits. It's not a bad piece. It'd be good for anti-black utility use.
I feel like most of the commander exclusive items, like there are certain commanders where yeah, like those items are really good, but otherwise it's a lot of these items are just maybe you need it for this particular situation.
Yeah, I mean,
Just like
it could be if you can't afford to go after an Alcade or, a lot of that, it could be interchangeable, cheaper interchangeable gear for those that can't afford to chase after the Alcade or stuff like that. For the smaller players that aren't wanting to spend a whole lot of money, you could get the stats that you'll get out of some of the higher gear off of some of this gear, and it's a little bit cheaper for you to get this other gear than it is the higher end gear. But I mean, there again, it's a mix and match.
yeah, it just depends
And
on
this is
like where you are.
all assuming that this weapon's even cheap. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
I
don't.
mean, well, it's not going to come out cheap. I'm going to tell you that right now. Most of the weapons when they come out is like $1,500, $2,000. I'm
Well,
talking
no.
about over the
I
basis of time.
This is probably on par with the Soul Cutter, I would say. It's got more accuracy. It's got a lot of accuracy. Like, that's a lot. Base stats wise, it's got more than most other pieces in this game. So it might be a little more expensive, but I think they'll come out with it the same way they came out with Soul Cutter, and it's not going to be too expensive because it's accuracy. How useful can it be?
So
yeah, I would say it's usable if you can afford to pick it up cheap, pick it up cheap. But it's not something that you're going to be screaming from the rooftops excited that you got it. It's not really going to bring
Yeah.
back Warrior.
Puppet.
It's slightly better utility command. I mean, it's just something to add to your arsenal if you want it. It's nothing groundbreaking.
It'll be a situational weapon. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's how most of the Commander exclusive items are.
No, I mean, as far as because I have seen a couple running Mysterious Warrior and Cass, and they actually do pretty good. For those that are doing that, then it might wind up being more to their liking. But I mean, there
Well,
again, that's only a Cass com. That's
yeah,
not a GC com.
That's only because we've had the skill trigger rate. If we don't have the skill trigger rate in the next cast, which should be
Then
starting
you get
in like a week,
yep.
week and a half,
Then you get messed up.
then it's
So I
yeah,
mean,
it's useless.
So I mean, just be wary. I mean, when you're building your comms on whether you're building them CAS oriented, GC oriented. I mean, it's kind of hard to get a comm that will do both. I mean, some comms will work both. Some comms can work with lesser lead during CAS and then higher lead during GC. But for the most part, a lot of people do the complete swap up having a CAS comm and a GC comm.
Whales.
I think it also depends on where you are in the game and how high you can actually get this. Because if you can only get it to level 30, like yeah, level 30 gear is good, but I'm not screaming from the rafters because I got a level 30 renowned sword. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I understand that.
I'm not even going to answer the door and talk about it.
Right? Like, and I personally, I mean, you never know with 7 pirates. I mean, I'm hoping with the way they've been doing things lately, like things will be getting better. But I don't think we'll have another skill trigger Cassitin. Hopefully, it'll be something different.
Well, you may not. You may have it. I mean, you don't know. That's the thing. You don't know what route they're gonna go.
Yeah, even if I knew for a fact that it was gonna be a skill trigger, Cassitin, even if I knew for a fact that this was gonna be a cheap item, accessible within the next couple weeks, I still wouldn't be like, oh, you really need to get this. It's just it's a okay, I got it, cool. It's not really something I would advise you going out to get, even with those prior knowledges that we don't know.
Man, I wouldn't advise anybody to go out after anything. Just go after what you can afford in your price range. Because I mean, there again, don't fucking break your bank going after something that anything. Even fucking Sun Raven. I mean, break the bank, go after Sun Raven, and you can't pay your bills. Not the way to go.
Right.
That's been the back storyline of this damn game for 7 years.
Exactly. So I wouldn't advise. I mean, if you can make use of it and it's at a decent price point for you, because everybody has their different price points. Some people don't spend at all, like Grinch. I mean, he depends on 7P to give him free shit.
Which has stopped.
Which has stopped.
Yeah, it stopped a couple months ago.
More on this game when you used to be able to figure out ahead of time what you were, what was coming up, but they don't let you know what's coming up anymore. So
Yeah,
I'm just
even
pissed. I want this new gear. I want it, but I don't want to spend money for it.
can't hold money back like you used to be able to because sorry, can't spend this money. I'm going to buy some crap for the game.
yes.
Whereas before, especially when they had the events going on, you knew ahead of time what was coming up. So I spent more.
What do you think? How many Shadow Matter events have we had this year? The 2, right? No, we've had 1. Where you had the Shadow Matter for in the whatchamacallit?
The one that you want. They're never giving that
I've
Shadow
been-
Matter one again.
Oh, I am.
We have been
Good one.
sitting
Yeah,
on
well,
the
haven't
Shadow
yet.
Matter for forever. Like I'm just waiting because that's like 70,000 mags or whatever. I'm just waiting. Never gonna show up now.
I'm
Never gonna be there.
I'm pushing
In
for
the
it.
chop. As soon as they saw that event, the dealers were like, "Yes, we're gonna get suckers all day for months."
They did too.
It
I
was
know a bunch of
coming.
people that were
I
buying
don't
that
know.
shit up.
I don't know this thing you talk about dealers. There's no such thing.
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about.
As
Never heard of a dealer before. What is this?
Friends with benefits. You know what I'm talking about.
Shit, when you
We
talk
have some
Seven
friends with
Pirates is
benefits,
the
yeah.
dealer now. Every one of us sit around like we're a bunch of fucking crackheads waiting on the next thing. Come on, man, give it to me. Come on, Seven Pirates.
But
Man,
the
Hold on
moral
one
of the
second,
story
I got
is,
my
I mean, could this gear be great, or could anything? I mean, I would never break the bank for any piece of gear. If you got the money and you want it, then spend it. But if you don't have the money, don't force yourself into something that isn't going to work for you.
Well, duh.
Yeah,
we
but you
say
gotta
that
say
now,
it
but
because
like
you
literally
know
over the
you.
last 7 years, how many of us remember when? I mean, you got a few years ago, Melt did all those interviews, and those guys were like, "Yep, this dude's getting divorced. That dude's getting divorced." I know two that got divorced. Like this game
Jesus.
cost them their marriage,
Oh
and they don't
wow.
even play it no more.
Yep.
You lost your wife and your account.
Who
Way to
got
go, genius.
who got their account?
Like bad influences.
Oh, I've had out with my wife a time or two over the game.
All right.
Oh, I mean, there's a few of them that we know that, yeah, they still play now, but their wife's watching credit cards and bank account statements. They're like, you spend $1 without talking to me. And the next money you'll be spending is on a damn alimony check.
Well, thank you for demoralizing us at this moment in time.
Yeah,
Thank
Jesus.
God I'm single.
Hey, why you bullshit, man?
There's a reason I've stripped my account 3 times and clawed as much money back out of it as I can.
Just saying.
That was when 50 gear was going for $1,000 a pop back in the day. I clawed about half my account back. So
yeah.
But so,
Yeah,
any
yeah.
other questions? One eye.
Yeah, do we have any
You want to
questions?
eat that gear?
eat it.
Do it.
I got lots of questions, but
Oh yeah, we're about to do your pit mark in just a second.
yeah.
As soon as we finish with this. So, is there any more questions regarding gear? Anything anybody want to say? Da 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 da.
I mean,
Wanna?
I'm just waiting for them to bring some kind of balance back to the damn paper, scissors, and rock fucking thing. I think it's
Well, I
way
mean,
blown up right now.
this is gonna bring balance back with that sweet in the pants, and there's a lot of different things you can do with that setup.
Well, I got a set of Beatles at 42, but I don't use it currently. And then I also, it's got four gems in it. And then I also have a set of 40 Overlords I don't really use much right now. Should I just eat both of them? They're both 4 gemmed.
You get those gems partially back. So I wouldn't worry too much about the gems.
Give them an idea of what you're gonna put it on. What's your gear sets you're looking at?
Well, hang up. Keep in mind that with the new pants coming out, there's going to be more sweet, and all the new gear doesn't have any RWE. So you might want to hold on to Beetlejuice for a bit.
Yeah, I
That's
would hold on to the Beetlejuice at least.
using any of it for, so don't take that as gold.
Well. Like I said, give them an idea of what your gear set is that you're looking at doing, or what you're looking at doing with your original gear set.
But I was thinking about going from the
Right.
Phantoms over to some trigger pants on Zar. And then switching off the Zar's weapon, possibly. I don't have another soul allocate or anything, but over to a soul cutter. And then building up, I have a formal hold at 30. I was thinking about taking, building up if I could get some Boston shit and build it. And replacing my Tangling.
Honestly, I'd have to look at it.
Oh, good thing we have a screen share. Go ahead, one eye.
Hang on. Hold on.
Who?
Uh-oh.
There it is.
Oh shit.
So before we moved over, I was running the Ambitions and the Beatles, so I could do anti-sweep and be a little more effective in the smaller guild and be able to sit in there longer.
Yeah,
Since
that's
then,
not.
I've switched over. So since then, I've switched over to the Phantoms and the Voids because I need to dodge more than I did over there.
You already got guaranteed ignore DR. So the
Right.
full hot really isn't necessary, right?
But sometimes against some of the bigger tanks, it
Yeah.
would be nice to hit just a little harder.
I got what you're saying.
Right. You might consider Fire Spirits and a second Alcade slash Rod if you ever got it.
He doesn't have a second Alcade. That's the only
Right.
issue. He could do that swap.
I heard from.
I'm as close to being free to play without being free to play as you could be.
Okay, well, back when Test ran Star, he said that the problem with the weapon was it doesn't have enough base damage because there's no attack,
Right.
which is why he never ran the M110, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think the only reason he runs the M110 is because it ups his trigger rates. I think he does 5 different, so 30% would be the up of his trigger rate.
You're not running a full march. I'm not sure how much damage reduction is going to help you in this case.
Well, the damage reduction is not what I was after. That was just the helmet's just for pan. The pants are just for the dodge.
Okay, Formula's
Then the
4%. So if you were to switch to that, you would need higher levels to get full.
Right.
Plus, Meteor is guaranteed crit, so you lose value there. If I was going to go for a helm on Zar, other than Tenlang, it'd be Ruthless for trigger rate.
Agree.
Yeah, well, that ain't
You
gonna
probably
happen in the next year or two. So
right. You would hit harder, form a lot, but it's a lot harder to get full pen, like a lot harder. You would need you need like 350 pieces for that to work. So I don't think that's an option.
Yeah, and the cheaper way would be to get some like pen gems in, but you've already got one in, so
right.
Right, and pen gems aren't cheap.
nope.
No.
So if you look at a lot of my King's gems, I just stopped where I was. I ran out of resources after a fucking hour and a half of trying to get what I needed. So I get it.
Yeah.
Right. I would keep Tenlang, work on a second Alcade, and maybe push up Fire Spirits if you want more trigger rate. You'll lose a little bit of dodge.
Well, yeah, because that's what he's kind of looking at is if he ate the 42 what you got? Yeah, the 42 battle guys, it would give him the gems he needs. Yeah, that he could run up.
Yeah, the Beetlejuice are a tank piece. They're really not going to do jack crap for you.
The only reason I had them before was the RWE.
Yeah, no.
I was running those with the ambition in there. Before we came over here.
If you had to avoid sweet, you're kind of fucked anyway.
Right.
Like, at best, I would just awaken RWE or just select commanders.
I'd just jump out the way. You see sweet, jump out the way.
Throw my transcenders in there in the march and whatever. So
Like you could keep the ambition if you want the ambition.
But
And
where I'm at now, the ambition, I need the dodge more than I need anything else.
right. But if you awaken dodge and have fire spirits, 40, that'll dodge like the majority of enemies that aren't running act builds. It'll beat most blacks that aren't running more than 2 alchemy, and depending on the gems.
I
It's
just got my dodge up to level 7. I'm working on level 8.
yeah, like I would do right there what you have right there, probably, and work on a second arcade. Personally. Because if you can't spend much more, it's going to be hard for you to improve that set any more than that. And focusing on avoiding SWE is not really priority.
Right now. It's
So
different
I mean,
here
that's
versus
what we
where I
were
was.
talking. That's what we were talking about over there about eating those.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
would eat
just so he can run it up.
the Beetlejuice, but I don't know if I would eat the Ambition because Ambition's got a lot of uses for infantry.
Yeah, the ambition I can throw, when I get, this over here, just working on my little sweet build I ate all of, I just started over, throw it on that or something, whatever. I'm not worried about that as much. But I do
Yeah, I
have
would eat
the 40
your tank.
overlords I don't use much. And then the
Overlords
beetles.
they're good for damage, but they're not that hard to get. You can always get another one for a second
I,
com.
I already have a set of 20 overlords sitting there, so it's not a big deal.
Okay, so then
Yeah,
those
like
bots are more important.
I use overlords on my daily secondary commander, but you don't even like really. It's not that important. You could probably
Yeah,
eat
like
both.
we've said this in like
And
a couple of gear talks and pit my arcs. Like if you're unless you're constantly switching, if something is going to be over 20, you need to be permanently using it or constantly switching. Otherwise, you got to use those for bots.
Right.
Grinch, you are almost illegible there.
Well, being as though I wasn't writing anything.
Yep, you're still illegible.
But like I said, so that's what we were talking about over there. That's why, when we came over here, I was just like, go ahead and let them. That way, you know, more heads in the box to
And
decide what
focus
to do.
all on attack for the helm and weapons because you already got a guaranteed crit, and accuracy is not going to do jack for you. If you miss, you miss. You want that guaranteed hit?
Yeah, he's all dodge and attack.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the only thing is changing out that one gem from a weaker gem to a higher
Yeah,
blue
that
gem.
changed out the Pisces. I'm not running anymore into one of the other ones.
Yeah. I recommend Gemini, Sagittarius, Andromeda Canes for literally almost all infantry.
Yeah.
Aside from
Aries, Andromeda, Gemini, Sagittarius is what I run.
yeah, you can get a Perseus gem for higher stats there if you ever
Right.
get one.
That's what I was working on, opening something, and I just don't have any 5s that fit in there right now that are attack.
And I would probably eat that weapon. To be honest, your biggest problem is going to be base damage, and you can't really afford to focus on anything else when you don't have that base damage.
You're talking about eating the Czar weapon?
Yeah, the M1 that might hurt when I say it out loud, but
It's just not. It's not effective. As it needs to be.
He's not seeing that much of a drop
I
off.
don't.
He has tested it, and he says he's not seeing as much of a drop off as what he's just getting the higher trigger rate from that weapon, where he's triggering more often with the weapon than he is without it.
Basically, yeah, what it boils down to.
well, you can keep it if you want to. I would test it versus the higher end tanks though, because that's where it's going to matter. If you're not hitting them hard enough, it doesn't matter if you hit them with the skill or not.
Yeah, I don't notice a whole lot of difference. I might kill an extra 2, maybe 300 if I trigger meteor with the attack versus M110.
200-300 is a lot.
Right, but that's if I trigger meteor. I don't trigger it very often without the fucking M110 for some fucking reason.
It's a 40% skill. So with Fire Spirit Pants at 40, closer to 45, eventually that would be what, 48% skill ish,
Stuff like
maybe.
that, yeah. Roughly. So, all right.
Yeah, I think we did the math when he does the 30 the 5 slot, 5 different, it ups it 30%. So it was at a 52% skill when we did the math with that weapon. So I mean that was the drawback with that weapon, is that
Right.
okay, well, he is getting the 30%. Now he gets the fire spirit up and then add that 30% into it. He might wind up with a little higher percentage of getting that guaranteed hit.
Yeah, I'm
And that's
almost
gonna
pretty
be
much
the thing.
with my meteor, guaranteed with my fucking power infantries or what the fuck ever. I'm gonna hit a meteor. Without it, it's a lot less. Maybe like I'm thinking like 35, 37% maybe. And without the
So
crit, she doesn't hit near as fucking hard.
saying that was the drawback we had with that, is that it was actually increasing his trigger rate, which I know at the time Tess was dealing with it. It wasn't working properly. Now it looks like they got it working properly where it is increasing his trigger rate.
Oh yeah, I can see a huge difference with and without it, and running different amounts of troop types. And then that guaranteed crit when it triggers is nice. That's where I see the biggest difference in the weapon and not the weapon.
Well, then, you can keep it if you want.
Well, I'll keep it.
I
We'll do some more testing, but if it comes to it and I need to eat it to do something to make it better, then we'll get there.
I guess if
Right.
you had an allocator to swap, it would be an easier decision.
This is true.
If you're not spending much for gear, there's not much you can upgrade. But if you see a chance to get that Rogers weapon, get it.
Yeah, I seen that one. As soon as I seen the attack on that, I was like, that'd be nice.
That ruthless. Work towards trying to get a ruthless.
Okay.
Because Ruthless is pretty awesome. Like, it's an underrated piece because it works on a lot of builds that people don't really think about. Like, Czar is one of them because you're not tanking. The damage reduction is not doing shit for you there.
No.
So you lose 1% base pen, but you do not have to have all 50 gear, and you have a 2.9% pen gem there, so you don't really lose
Yeah.
anything.
And you
If
wonder
get-
why I give away his secrets. He's giving away mine.
well,
Asshole.
if you get to like 45 weapons and the helm to 45, 6, 7, whatnot, which you will when you recycle the Tan Lang, you can have 100% pen with the Ruthless, and that's gonna help you a lot.
All right. Ruthless it is.
Like
It's a matter of time and money.
Czar right now, if I was going to change commanders, my gear would do just as well on Czar. And it's basically the same thing you have, ish.
Right.
But
Nice headpiece and whatever, but. All right. And then we'll run with it for now and see what happens.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go ahead and eat the battle guys or Beetlejuice, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
And
I'll probably eat the
then, I
Beatles
mean,
and the Overlords.
yeah, and run your stuff up for that. Because, I mean, the main thing is your primary comp.
Right.
I understand that your secondary, you're looking at DS, but, I mean, it's no good
I
unless
was
you have a
thinking about,
primary comp.
currently it's kind of a Stella, but I do have T12 Air sitting there I don't use.
well, keep in mind tech level. It's going to be a major difference. And without full pen, DS isn't going to do that much for you.
I'm fucking on there.
Actually, If I was going to run a secondary with airships, I would run Vega. And you could just throw the formula on Vega. You're not going to get value from the pen, but keep in mind, it's a base 4. You can get that
Yeah.
crit and that production ignore on a Vega. That's going to hit hard AF.
Ugh, I hate Vega.
Yeah, but like cheap away
Yeah,
from
well, Vega's on his alt, so.
Right. I still got Vegas.
damage reduction with that breakdown, you're going to hit hard. And you can do cheap gear.
So, but yeah, that's kind of what I was going towards, is just eating that gear and getting your primary gear up is what I was going for. And
That's what I was thinking about, getting the pants, to 40 at least. And either taking the weapon for now to 45 or just taking the voids up for the dodge. I just finished Dodge 7. I got the 8. I got the UC for Dodge 8. Just of course gotta get resources.
yeah,
I mean, it kind of depends on how you play, but I think 99% of the time, you want your main commander to be at 50 gear, and then work on an alt commander.
Right.
Because it doesn't.
yeah, for those that can, those that it will be beneficial for, or those that can afford to do that right away. Other than that, it's like, okay, you hit a point on your main commander where you just can't improve it right away, so you start working on something else to keep you busy.
Yeah.
I understand the decision.
That's where I kind of go with it most of the time.
I have a lot of 40 gear on I could deck 6 commanders out with 40 gear. And if I ate all of that, it wouldn't even push one piece to 50. That's the problem with that need 50 for your main mentality is, yeah, you need 50 for your main, but if you're not spending to get it specifically, it's going to take you forever. So you might as well deck up your secondary and your third while you're at it.
I've never
Yeah.
bought resources. I've never bought gear. I've never nothing.
Right. Well, if you do, spend it on your main.
I
Yeah,
want to get Zard to at least all 45 right now. That's my current goal. And of
Right.
course,
Yeah.
farther after that.
That's about where I got stuck.
Yeah,
So
I think it depends
because
on.
it becomes a waiting game to 50.
Yeah, I think it depends on where
It'd
you
be easier,
are.
of course, to get the right.
Now,
And
don't forget being able to rotate your gear around, as in just make sure you have 4 to 5 45 bots at all times. That way you can take a gear up to 40, then you take it to 44, get the 5 bots, then you take, don't forget doing it that way too, because that's a little bit cheaper for you. Just keep building gear up and able to rotate those bots around in order to get your gear up a little bit quicker.
and I might be able to use. There's a lot of 40 gear on my alt that I could probably eat and move around to get me to that point to where I have those extras sitting there too.
So I mean, just don't forget that the other way of doing things that makes it a little bit cheaper to build your gear up. But it is going to be time consuming to make sure you can get all those bots at all those times in order to work your gear up. But I mean that would benefit you to constantly do that than anything else.
Yeah, the bot and gear grind is long and annoying.
Yes, it is.
Started a couple times and stopped it a couple times.
But for those that can stay focused, it makes it easier for them to build their gear up. So just remember, there's always other ways of doing
Yeah, there's always the long way around, which I mean I've played most of since Server 67. I've always taken my time and never spent nothing, and it is what it is.
Yeah, trust me, I understand the slow progress.
it.
You know,
I
I
was
feel
the
like
same
I
way
cheated
for the longest
myself.
time.
Feel like I cheated myself when I spent $100 on the game.
Well, see, you
Makes me
get
feel
rid of the
dirty.
wife, you get rid of the wife, you get rid of the kids, then you can spend more on the game.
Well, she's getting
That's
rid of me,
terrible.
so we got that covered.
uh,
But all right, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Do we have any more
Is
questions?
that it?
anybody else?
Me. I'm still hanging around.
We got you, buddy.
Well, we're about to
Yeah,
get
we're
to you for the pimp my heart once we.
all right.
Well,
Well,
if there's no more questions for Geek Talk, I guess we can call it a day.
yeah. Looks like we're
Hang
gonna
on,
call
I
it.
can hear.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all showing up, asking questions.
I have a lot, but most of mine are easy. Some of them aren't.
That's fine, buddy. We'll get to you.
All
Yeah,
right.
just remember, all these questions is not a one size fits all. It's all depending on your situation in game and in real life too. Oh,
Exactly. Well, other than that, let's always.
What? I think you cut out.
Who?
No.
never.
Yeah. I gotta switch some cords around.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna call it here. Thanks for everybody that showed up and participated. Thanks for anybody that watches. We got some pit marks to do, so appreciate you all. We're out.